How life-changing would it be to make $2,000 a day on Etsy? Is that even possible? What is the formula or game plan to even do that? In today's video, I'm going to give you 3 different strategies that I personally have done and strategies that I teach for how to make $2,000 a day on Etsy. Now, these are 3 very different strategies, so just choose what you like best or try all 3. My name's Dylan Jarris, and I'm an Etsy seller of over 7 years, and I've sold over $1.5 million in revenue on the platform, and that's over $1 million in actual profit. Before I give you these 3 strategies, I want you just to leave a comment. I want to know the highest daily revenue number that you have ever seen in your Etsy shop. You don't have to put your shop name, but you can if you want to. The 3 strategies are AOV, teams, and long tail keywords. Let's break this down. Number 1, AOV. What is AOV? Average order value. To get this number, you take your total revenue divided by the total number of orders, and that will give you your average revenue per order or average order value. This is a number you really need to pay attention to in order to reverse engineer your income goals. So the very first time I ever did over $2,000 in a single day, it was due to the AOV strategy. So this means in your product mix, you need to have a mix of items that are both going to drive up your order number and your total revenue. We don't want to focus on either or. We need different listings with different purposes. So this point is really about those listings that are going to scale your revenue. So ideally, some of these products will be $500 or more. You are going to hit $2,000 days so much faster if you put your time and energy and effort behind driving traffic and increasing the conversion rate for those listings. So personally, I sell items that are over $600 all in my shop, and it's really easy to have $2,000 days when you sell just a few of those items. The key here though is not just including high ticket items in your shop, it's actually nurturing them and building them up to become best sellers. So how do we do this in a practical way? You might be thinking, $500 items, like that sounds nice. What would I even put in my shop that's $500? Well, number 1, we're not going to think about what you're selling in your shop. We're going to think about who are you selling to that would actually spend $500 in a single transaction on Etsy. We want to isolate who these people are. Or you need to think, in what situations are people spending at least $500 on one thing? That is what led me to the baby category, which is where I sell, $600 plus items. It's way easier for people to spend $500 on something really large versus spending $500 on something really small. So for example, $500 maybe vintage earrings compared to maybe a $500 piece of furniture. What's the easier sell? When an item is larger, the perception is that they're getting more. If you need help figuring out what a high ticket item for your shop would be, just reach out to us. If you're part of the coaching group, put your question in the coaching group so that we can help you identify some high ticket items for your specific shop. And if you're not in the coaching group, you can always reach out to us via our website's contact form. Myself and my team are in there every day. All right, the second way that I personally have had $2,000 plus days on Etsy is by selling to teams. You might be thinking, what, Dylan? Like selling to teams? So team moms are my favorite customers to sell to. They have already proven that they're willing to spend a lot of money on some expensive hobby or sport or activity for their kids. So buying something in alignment with their current spending habits is a very easy decision. How do you do this in a practical way? I'm not going to give away all my secrets here, but you got to go straight to the source. I'm talking about like door knocking, you guys. I am not above door knocking, and you shouldn't be either. If you are curious about the details of that, just reach out. So teams are one of my favorite ways to get to those $2,000 plus days. You could easily get to $6,000 plus days doing that. I like selling to teams of large number of players or kids, like 50 plus. Those are the best teams to go after, in my opinion. All right, now the third game plan for having $2,000 days is to have the widest variety of long tail keywords possible in your shop. So it's having a large volume of listings with a wide variety of long tail keywords. We are not doing a general store, and we are not niching down. What we are doing is actually selling to a wide variety of customers who all appreciate the same aesthetic. This is the key here. Same aesthetic, different customers. This is what I've done with my shop, and out of all of the students in my program who started at nothing and grew to the highest volume the fastest, this is the exact model that they use. So the idea is less competition with yourself and more visibility overall. We need you to show up in the maximum number of search results. Now, we still need you to have a dynamic product mix, which means you have different listings that each have different purposes, but there's less pressure on having that high average order value. And there's more pressure or maybe focus on serving as many people as possible in as many ways as possible. Huge caveat here. Do not attempt this this one if your aesthetic and your taste is poor, because then you could easily end up with 1,000 listings in a shop that just look bad. This does not work for everyone. This really requires a good eye. And if you don't have a good eye for design or aesthetic, then I recommend going with option 1 or 2. So how do you do this in a practical way? We need to know what are the most trendy aesthetics that have not come to Etsy yet. If you don't know this, and if you don't know how to figure this out, then I recommend not going down this path. Because if you try to go down this path and you don't know how to find the aesthetics that are not yet on Etsy, it will be a total waste of your time, energy, and money. This third game plan works really well if you can understand and spot trending aesthetics before they come to Etsy. If you need help with any of these game plans, figuring out which one might be right for your shop, feel free to reach out to us. You can send us a message through the contact form on our website, which we've linked below in the description, or you could just reach out to us on Instagram. You'll talk to myself and my team, and we can actually talk to you about these game plans and how they might fit into your shop. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Until now, I didn't really have many sales in my Etsy shop. Almost 2 months ago, I bought the course. I can see a steady growth, increase in my views, especially in my conversion rate, which was very low before.